feature you meet that. So here no negative coordinates. Why? Both are positive. See that here the x coordinate positives and here y coordinate positive. So now the question is easy to you. They are not dealing negative questions for the O-level exams under the new syllabus, because if the graph part under the first quadrant lies, then the coordinate should be positive, both x and y coordinates. Okay, see 2016 onwards, what's the question exactly they are. So they comply with, they are right. This part means here to here, whatever these directions, right? Okay, so what's the nature of this graph format of a straight line? That is y equal mx plus c. Okay, so first things they ask mostly in the exams, the gradient. So what's the m? M is the gradient of this graph. Okay, then what's the c? C is the intercept of the graph. So c is called the intercept. So then I will explain what's the gradient and intercept of the graphs. Okay, so the gradient, they are mostly asking the exams the gradient. Okay, the gradient being mostly asked in the exams. So first take the idea of the gradient. Gradient of a graph is like the inclinations of the graph with the x-axis. Just take that idea, but actually not the inclination. We take the tan value of that angles with the x-axis. Okay, but take that with the x-axis. If the inclination more, the gradient more. If the inclination more, gradient more. Right here, then when it creates obtuse angle like this more than 90, then the gradient nature comes as negative. Okay, so now your idea, if I take a straight line right here, then gradient positive, 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 but getting increase. Why? With the x-axis, this angle getting more, right? With the x-axis angle getting more, then the gradients getting more, right? Okay, gradient getting more, right? Then after 90 degree, if I draw the graph, right, to these directions, the gradients starts the negative, right? So the blue color lines, the gradient of that kind of orientations of a line means the gradients becomes the negative. Okay, right. So by looking into the graph at the exam also, you can determine, right, the gradient value, positive or negative. So first graph, this kind of graphs up to here, the gradient positive. If the graph passes more than 90 degree, then the gradient should be negative. If you take mistakenly the gradient as negative for a positive shapes graphs, then you have an idea my calculation is wrong. Okay, so for this kind of the yellow color, the yellow color kind of graph, when you are finding the gradient, you see a negative value, it can't be. For blue color type of graphs, when you see the gradient, it should be negative. Then if you see a positive value, that means your calculations is wrong. Understood? So that's how you decided by looking with the common sense. Have the common sense. We are looking to the graph's orientation. It should be positive or negative. So take that idea. What is the gradient? Gradient is like the inclination of with the x-axis. If the inclination is more, then the gradient more. If the inclination less, gradient less. Then what's the intercept of the graph? This is the intercept. So intercept, you can identify where the graph intersect the y-axis. Intercept means intercept with the y-axis. The graph intersect with y-axis. Okay, that point you take as the intercept. So this, see that. So you feel that this part is not intersecting, no. But this is just part of the graph. This is not ending. This is continuing, right? The graph coming here. And you can see where it hit the y-axis. So this value is the intercept. Okay, you can see this blue color lines going here, right? Then where it cut the y-axis, this is the intercept. Where this graph cut the y-axis value is the intercept. So this is intercept, this is intercept. So this height you take as the intercept. Okay, now intercept means what? By looking into the graph, where the graph intersect the y-axis. Y-axis. Okay, so if you do maths further, right, we have actually x-intercept and y-intercept. Why? Y-axis also intersect in the graph as well as x also intersect in the graph. But intercept means the y-axis intersect point. Understood?